Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about some basic concepts relating to your car so that it will enhance your ability to work on your car and save a lot of money in basic maintenance and some basic repairs. So we were going to start with this engine block. I'm going to remove this because I'm getting ready to work on this car. But as you can see, we have the basic components. This is where we add oil to the car, and this is almost universal. It will be on a different location on each car. Some cars we have it in the middle, some cars we have it on the side, but nevertheless this has to be opened in order to add oil to the system. Again, find a big plastic hose and follow it to some type of container, and that is, generally speaking, the air filter. This is where the air filter is housed. In the older type vehicles, the battery is not covered by anything. It is free. And in some vehicles, it might be covered, while in other vehicles like BMWs and Audis, it might actually be in the trunk of the car, not at all in the engine bay. In this car here, we have the fuses, the electrical fuses, and here, and this is almost a universal symbol. In most every car you're going to see this symbol, and that is your wiper fluid, the wiper washer fluid. If you come here, you're going to see the word danger, and this is directly connected to our radiator. And the reason why it says danger is because it is pressurized, and if you try to open this and the car is very hot, especially if your car has overheated, this can come out with an explosive power and it can actually injure you or kill you. So it is good to avoid getting into this at all. If you need to add coolant, if your engine is hot, it's easier to go right here. In each car it will be in a little different position, but you can see it will be a plastic container, white plastic container, and this is where you add coolant. Now if you come here, you see the refrigerator lines for the AC, and this is the low side and this is the high side. The bigger difference and the easiest way,
Back up a little bit and show that again.
This is the low side, the low pressure, and this is the high pressure. And the easiest way to see it visually is that the high pressure is actually larger and the low pressure is smaller. And one of the big advantages of that is that you cannot make a mistake here. You add refrigerant in the low side, never in the high side. And most everything else, you know, we have brake lines, and we have the serpentine belt, sometimes called the accessory belt. This is a job that can save you a lot of money if you learn how to do it yourself. But in general, you see, the engine will look in most cars like this. This is an inline 4. When you hear someone has an i4 engine or an i5, Volkswagen, for example, the Volkswagen Beetle has an i5. The I stands for inline, which means all the cylinders are one next to each other, and if you look here, this is where the manifold comes out, and you're going to see that there are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 tubes, and each of them is going into a cylinder. Also, if you were to remove this cover, you will find underneath the ignition coils and beneath them the spark plugs. If it is a V designation in front of the engine name, then that means that it is the cylinders are in a V configuration, and those tend to be larger engines. For example, this is a 2.4, and in most cars the cover for your oil will tell you what type of oil the car uses, in this case 5W20. And in the oil, the first number, the 5W, is the viscosity for winter, and the 20 is the viscosity for summer. It is not a good idea to change the recommended viscosities in your car, as you might experience serious problems. Contrary to a lot of misinformation, you can change your own oil, and actually does not void your warranty as long as you keep records. So keep the receipt that you bought the oil and keep in a book the date and time that you did it. And you don't have to take it to a shop even for a newer car. Unless of course the dealer gave you free oil changes, and then why get dirty and do it. In this car, the oil pan, actually in all cars, the oil pan will be in the bottom of the engine, and that's where you drain it. And the filter in this specific car is also in the bottom of the engine. We're going to show you in a moment a car that is not the case. Understanding the basic concepts in a car will help you to make a lot of repairs on your own and a lot of troubleshooting. One last thing I want to point out is if you look at your batteries, more often than not, the battery, the positive terminal will be red or orange. The red is kind of color, and it will be covered, and that is to avoid short circuiting. And the negative will be exposed. Most batteries, and I don't know if that's visible, they have a plus and a minus. Can you see that or no?
Plus and minus.
And then there is a plus on the plus side. If your car has its battery on the back, you don't have to charge it in the back, but somewhere in the engine bay there will be something similar like that, but without the battery. And then you're going to, you want to show that again what I'm talking about? There will be something looking like that that flips up, and you're going to find a charging terminal. And then for the negative, you need to find something that it is bare metal to close the circuit. So in this car, I would probably go here. This screw is not painted. If you go into a painted surface like here, you're not going to make a connection and you will not be able to jump start your car. Anything I forgot to mention? In some modern cars, however, the configuration can be a little different. For example, if you see here, you're going to see that there is not a cap on the radiator. Everything here is smooth without any interruption. And the reason for that is because a lot of accidents have been attributed to people uncapping radiators under pressure and being severely injured. So how do you fill your radiator with fluid? You actually go back there, and of course it will be a little different in each car. In some cars it's in a different location, but it will be clearly noted what it is, and this is radiator coolant, and that's how you fill it. Not to be confused with this, that always will have, in all cars will have this symbol on, and that is for your wipers, the wiper fluid. So this is important to look at your car when you buy it and find where things are. If you want to know where the engine air filter is, follow one of these big hoses that goes into the engine, and you're going to see a type of container like this. And in this car we have very clear marking, and most modern cars have markings, and that tells you that the air filter is there. Right, and in this car the battery is the same, but you see there is a battery sign there. Is it visible or not? And that tells you, the reason they do that is it prevents corrosion and keeps the battery life longer. Every car will have the oil fill on top of the engine. And that's how you're going to fill your engine with oil. Now in this car, the oil filter is actually on top. It's on top of the engine, it's right here. In some cars, actually I would say in most cars it's underneath. But if you have an Audi, a BMW, a Mercedes, or any other German car, or some other American and European cars that they are more modern, you're going to find the fuel filter on top of the engine rather than behind it. These are the basic differences between an older style type engine and a more modern style type engine. So, as you can see, today we just talked about the basics. You want to stop? Today we talk about the basics of what is under your hood, and by following them you're going to save a lot of money and do your maintenance yourself and get both the satisfaction and also the knowledge that comes with it. I hope you enjoyed this very short episode of automotive do-it-yourself in the homesteading. Okay, let's do that again. I hope you enjoyed this short episode in the Urban Homesteading channel in the automotive DIY segment. And if you I guess I cannot speak today. And if you did, please smash that like button. If you didn't, the other button works as well. Share, like, subscribe, and leave us comments. And we're going to see you Sunday with another build. And we're going to wish you a great remainder to your week. From the Garage Woodwater and we need to do that again, huh? From the Garage, Wizard, and Elpida, we bid you well, and we will see you soon.